Okay, this is Jeff Head once again with the HMS Prince of Wales, my new English Royal Navy aircraft carrier. This is right at or a little above 1/300th scale as opposed to 1/350. Quality model ships sold this to me. And I thought I'd show you some things that are very innovative on the carrier, some issues with the ship as it came to me, and that's for quality models as well, so that they can see and take advantage of it and hopefully fix them in future models. So let's hurry up and get started with this. Right here, you see the air wing that actually came with the model. And this is, by the way, a wooden model, and the hull and whatnot are very well done. It weighs about 15 pounds, got a great stand to it, and I was very drawn to it from that perspective. But let's keep going. You see these small aircraft here are supposed to be F-35Bs, and as you can tell by looking at them, they don't resemble an F-35B at all whatsoever. They actually look like something you might find at a toy store, a dollar toy store. This is supposed to be a Merlin Helicopter, and you can tell by looking at it, of course, if you know much about the Merlin, that doesn't look anything like a Merlin Helicopter. Other than it's gray, it's got a rotor, but only with 2 blades, and it's about the right size, I suppose. So the first thing I did was immediately take all of these aircraft off of the aircraft carrier because they would not be used at all. Another issue, this is the radar that was on the back island of the ship. It looks like a small version of the S-1850 radar that's on the front part of the ship, which is the main 3D radar. You'll see that up here, and quite frankly, the one that came with it is not really accurate when it comes to the dimensions, but I'll fix that as soon as I scratch build one. At any rate, that is a PISA radar, passive electronic scanned radar, and the only one that's on the ship is the one there on the front island. The back island I had up in the radar area to rebuild. As you can see, I have placed an Artisan 997 radar back there on top where this radar was, and we had to cut this radar off, and we did that and replaced it with the other, along with the main master. The main master you might see was a single round mast, and so I devised the part in front that is more in keeping and looks the way the radar actually looks, not the radar, the mast. And that's something that needs to be fixed on this ship, because you spend the kind of money they're asking and you'd like the radars to be appropriate. Another couple of issues real quick and we'll move on. You can see these domes here. This dome and the one like it on the further back are actually an entire level too low. This dome should be right up here. As you can see my finger, it should be right there as opposed to down here. And the same thing with this dome. It's down too low. The front windows were much too big, and I had to scratch build a piece to put in there so that they would be the right size. While I'm here, you might as well look at the aircraft that I do have on here. These are excellent aircraft. as it is. These are F-35Bs, and they are 3D aircraft that I got through Shapeways. I also bought a few further back here through Orange Hobby, but the Snafu aircraft are cheaper and they are very well detailed, and so most of my aircraft for F-35Bs are from that maker. Same thing on the Merlin helicopters. You can see these are very, very detailed and very well done Merlin helicopters. They look exactly the way they should. I scratch built the torpedoes you see there, but these were bought from Trumpeter. They're 1/350th scale, as are the F-35Bs. You can see a couple of more back there that are parked with their rotors folded. Also from Trumpeter, I've got two Osprey aircraft, actually three. There's one on one of the elevators that is got its wings folded. And I made, as I said before on some of the other videos, I made one of these AEW version of the Osprey, the EV-22, which has been designed and is waiting to be used. I expect the Japanese, the Koreans, and perhaps the U.S. as well to buy them for the smaller carriers, the VTOL carriers that they are putting the F-35Bs on. And that is a great addition because you're looking at the 300 to 350th mile range, as opposed to the Crow's Nest, which is based on one of these Merlins, which is a great solution for a helicopter, but it's only for a helicopter. And the EV-22 would be pressurized and get up to 35,000 feet or maybe more and give you that much greater range. Okay, those are important things to know. You need to address the air wing if you were going to buy this ship. Also, you can see, and I've said this before as well, the electronic information screens that are on the islands. There's the two in back and the one in front on the rear island, and then just one in back on the forward island. Those tell the crew all kinds of things about the flight and the navigation of the ship and the current state of affairs on the ship. So that is something that should be on this ship. Also, the larger radomes here, like this one, should be up higher as well, just like the ones on the front island. Finally, it's very important. There was no deck equipment with this aircraft carrier at all. So I purchased some. You can get them. Trumpeter, Merit Hobbies, and others make them. You can get them in Shapeways as well. It's probably the best place. But I bought some tugs, some forklifts. Here you can see a ship's crane, another forklift, and yes, it's true. The Royal Navy is painting their tugs and deck equipment in a camouflaged color green, olive drab. But that's what they're doing. That's what they want. That's what they got. This is a larger forklift you see here, and we'll go on from there. Also, of course, there were no 1/350th scale personnel. I bought those from KA Models and from Fujimi, and they are very well done. And I've got about 200 of them on this ship. I could have put another 100 if I wanted to. As we zoom in on these, you can see that they are well colored and detailed, and they're preparing to launch this aircraft, getting these aircraft ready to follow it. Landing operations going on here with these Ospreys and with these Merlins. And you can see the men there giving signals to the personnel inside the aircraft, saluting them, etc. Also, very important here, we've got the Royal Navy Jack back here in the back where it appropriately belongs. I've got men who have just put it up. Finally, I do also have the close-in weapon system, of which there were none. The Prince of Wales doesn't have its on yet. The Queen Elizabeth does, but all they have are 3 Phalanx 25mm close-in weapon systems. And that's nice, but it's not enough. So I added 2 rolling airframe missile launchers, each one carrying 21 missiles for close-in support. I also added 3 25 or 30mm auto cannons that are manned there, as you see, and also added numerous 50 caliber machine guns to the ship, as well as ladders and other equipment along the side of the island. Here's a 50 caliber machine gun manned by one of the sailors, and there's probably 10 of those around the ship. So those are things that need to be addressed by the model maker. I also added numerous doors and safety buoys to be thrown to anyone who went overboard. That back sponson and a little deck back there needed to be added. It wasn't on the ship. These are the 2 elevators. There's room in there, but there's not room for a build out for the hangar bay. I would recommend that they build this a little different internally so that they can have latches to put the flight deck down and then open it up and have the hangar bay in there so that anybody that wanted to could buy the parts. They're also available and completely available in shapeways. So you could build out the interior and put a lighting system in there. As it was, there was no need to do that because it was impossible to make happen. Finally, one last thing that wasn't available at all, and that's this little beauty right here. The English have made a really neat system for getting their people off the ship. It's called the Maritime Escape System, and so I scratch built a similar raft to what they're using. This is a little bigger. They use an actual slide. This comes from a company in Australia, and the men slide out of that or climb down it in hangars, and each one of them can hold 150 to 200 men. As you can see, I've put numerous men in there, and then they can cover that whole thing and get up. As you see the one there, if we go down the deck, there's another one that comes out of that concealed hatchway, and another one comes out of this one, and then there's 3 on the other side, so there's 6 altogether. And then you can see that along the each side, on both sides, they've got the normal life rafts that are used. They can hold 15 to 20 personnel each. So that's something that they should consider. Having that escape system is really nice, and I like building it. I built, as you can see, a little metal frame and drilled into the display stand and placed it so that it would be there so that I could show off the escape system. I've thought about adding all 6, but I think 1 is enough as it is. So that is the ship and all the various things that went with it. You can see all the details The only railing that came with the ship, it was the railing that was on the islands. So all the other railing that you see here and netting were things that I added after the fact. And they should, quality ship models or quality model ships should address that in what they build. I have recommended to them that they build these ships in true 1/350th scale. And if they'll do that, I think that they will be much more successful in selling them. And if they get an air wing that is satisfactory in terms of how it looks, where it actually looks like F-35Bs and they look like Merlin helicopters, etc., then they will also be much more successful. We've got one other aircraft here. That's a S-60J. I have a Japanese Seahawk visiting the Prince of Wales here, and I just thought I'd put that on there. Have added a number of ladders, number of stairways, etc. with my detailing. So now that it is detailed and with all the parts on it, if you look on my channel, you'll see two other videos about the Prince of Wales. One, the Prince of Wales by itself, where I just explain and talk about the carrier, and then one with the entire battle group with two Type 45 destroyers, two Type 23 frigates, and two astute nuclear-powered carriers. And I talk about a number of things there because there's some important issues with respect to the carrier strike group itself in terms of the number of missiles they have to protect this awesome large aircraft carrier that they have built. We'll forget for a moment that it's a stow bar instead of cattle bar with a wing of up to 50 F-35Bs. They have a very powerful vessel, probably only second to the United States, which aircraft carriers can carry up to 95 aircraft. And the America class will be similar to this. It's not nearly as wide though. They have built here a carrier that's got a deck that's almost as wide as the U.S. nuclear carriers, only 14 feet difference. And they've got plenty of maneuvering room, plenty of place to spot the aircraft and take advantage of launching the aircraft and landing them as quickly as possible. So there you have it. The HMS Prince of Wales, beautiful carrier for the Royal Navy, purchased by Quality Model Ships. It may be Quality Ship Models. I think it's Quality Model Ships. They sell this ship for about $550. I got a significant discount because I told them that I would set it up so that they could see some things they needed to do. I honestly believe that if they made it 1/350th scale and made deals with some of these other manufacturers on the aircraft, they could get the price of this down below $500 and sell a bunch of them, because a wooden ship with such a nice stand and then fixed up with the details would in fact be getting close to museum quality, and that's what they want. And when you look at SD Models, which is a very well-known naval model builder, wooden models again, mahogany, with full museum quality, full air wings that look very, very nice. They're carved wooden aircraft, look exactly like the aircraft, and you can even ask them to build specific air wings for them on the aircraft carriers, and specific time frames for the ships, destroyers, and everything that you can imagine, including even not only the amphibious ships but the logistical ships as well. But they are also very expensive. Those ships an aircraft carrier that's a 1/350th scale and completely outfitted is going to cost $1,800 to $2,000. And so these guys have an opportunity to really get into the market at a price point that would make it really nice for them. And I'm hoping that they take the information that I'm giving them and act on it. I'm not trying to be too critical. I'm trying to help them. And I think if they did the things that I talk about, they would have a heck of a deal going. So with that, we'll stop. The last thing that you can see here on this side is the other three openings for the MEC escape ships for getting off the ship if there's a problem. This is Jeff Head channel, Naval Model Building and Naval Discussion channel. Thanks a lot for watching. And Merry Christmas to everybody. It's a week away. Thanks. Bye-bye.